what we call primary caregivers. And so each teacher, we have 4 kids. And really, to me, that means when a child first starts, you're focusing on them. The other teachers in the room know that, so they'll try to give you as much one-on-one time with that child in the beginning as possible. So in the beginning, if it's a bottle-fed baby, or during mealtime, I'll be sitting next to them or feeding them. Nap times, I'll be helping to put them to sleep so we can get that bond and attachment going. And with parents, it just means at the end of the day, they're looking to ask me, how was the child's day, and to talk about their child with me, doing our conferences a few times a year with them. So it's what primary care means, and if there's ever an issue related to a child, I'll work with them on that. But we also have attachments with all the kids in the room. So at the same time, I'm responsible for all the children in my room, but with the 4, we just end up getting a little bit closer than the rest of them. It's important to get that in the beginning with that child.
So the mixed age grouping classification works as a family atmosphere. We like to make it as homey as possible in all of our areas. So having an infant interacting with a 2-year-old is what happens in the home. So for us, the benefits of that are widespread. They get to see each other grow, they get to help each other, they get to notice the differences between developmentally appropriate practices, plus get to nurture each other. And it's very nice to be able to have that home atmosphere. And I think parents like to see the differences, and then the sibling piece of that is wonderful. So when you have a family that maybe has a 2.5-year-old that has a sibling coming in, they get that priority to have that infant and they can be together, which doesn't typically happen in a setting like a community-based child care center. Some parents, will say, I'm not sure that I really want that. And then others really do. And the majority, 99% of them, siblings are together. And that's a draw for them because they already have a primary care teacher that they have for 3 years, which is another benefit of mixed age grouping. So if you have an infant that comes in at 6 weeks of age, you could potentially know your child's primary care teacher for 3 years. So it's very nice. And then they go to preschool and the same thing occurs. So you could have potentially 2 primary teachers for the length of their time, which gives that, that building relationships argument a really good plus. We cultivate those relationships from the day they come in, from the intake meeting to the first day that they're in the classroom, and then for that 3 years. If they're 6 weeks old, for that 3 years, it's like one of your own. It gets them to understand exactly what their developmental levels are. It helps them also understand personalities. And cuts down on behavioral issues because you're having that relationship with that child, and that child knows consistently who their caregiver will be and what to expect from them on a daily basis. And it also gives the communication piece for parents. Parents know the go-to. So you can have 5 teachers in the classroom and they'll all have the same answers, but you have that one primary care teacher that knows your child the best, and that reciprocal relationship works out very well. And it works for families because they feel that continuity of care is just there, and it's worth it for them. So our infant toddler classrooms, you could potentially come in at 6 weeks of age and stay in an infant toddler classroom until they're 3, and then we have paired them with a sibling preschool classroom. So that classroom would be where they transition into. So all of our children stay together throughout their entire time here. So we've had maybe 1-2 transition issues, where a child's a little worried about leaving their classroom because they're so used to having children going into other classrooms. They know that their friends are already up there and the friends are welcoming them. And those 2 classrooms do things together. So that's another thing that helps our philosophy of small grouping, is that preschool teachers take 5 or 6 kids and go and take 5 or 6 infant toddlers and they go for a walk. They do an art project together, they play on the playground together. It just makes that building relationships even better. It's very nice, and parents are very happy to hear that. They can meet a preschool teacher when their child's 6 weeks old if they'd like, and go observe those classrooms to see what's happening in those rooms as well. It's self-sustaining and it works. And families are enjoying it and the children love it. I mean, it's like they're not even sidestepping anything. They don't have any idea. And you know, sometimes you've had transitions that are difficult for children, especially after 3 years of being with one caregiver. By the time these children are hitting 3 years old, they're ready to go, but they also are familiar with the teachers that they're going to meet.